Hello, my YouTube friends. I am back. I want to give an update in regards to my neurology appointment on June 10th. Just for a recap, I'm off the case study now. June 9th was my last day on the Gilenya case study. And June 9th, I had an MRI. I had pulmonary function test done and a skin exam done. The skin exam and the pulmonary test all came back great. No issues with my skin. My breathing is actually 5% better than the last time I took the test. And the MRI ended up being, it was going well until about the last 4 minutes. I was so uncomfortable the last 4 minutes because I was not relaxed in the machine, and my back felt really tense because of how I was positioned. I just should have relaxed starting out in the MRI, and it caught up with me toward the tail end, and I started hurting, and I couldn't move. If being at the tail end of the test, and if I had have moved, we would have had to start the MRI all over again, and I didn't want to go through all of that knocking, banging, and carrying on that the machine does. So completed that. That was June 9th, and then June 10th went to the hospital to meet with the neurologist and did the 6-hour observation for Gilenya, and those 6 hours went by pretty quick. They check your blood pressure, check your urine, do a ECG test or EEG test, one of those where they put all the electrodes on you and then they run a test and it comes back telling you something. So we did all of that, and then I popped a pill. And every hour for 6 hours after that, I had to have my blood pressure checked to make sure that my heart rate, my blood pressure wasn't dropping dangerously low. And all of that went well. I didn't have any issues. And the 6 hours went by pretty quick. Me and my husband was there with me, and we watched TV, watched videos on YouTube, talked, walked to the hospital cafeteria, ate, and came back and did more watching TV. I mean, it really wasn't too much out of that we could have done anything different. But the time went pretty quick. And then at the tail end on the 6th hour, I had to do that ECG or EEG test again and have my blood pressure checked again, of course, before I was able to leave. And so everything went well. I was hoping to get my MRI results back on that day, but they didn't have, the imaging company didn't have them sent over to my neurologist because they wasn't ready. So I finally got a copy of my results the following week, and basically the report comes back indicating that I have no new or enhancing MS plaques, and a previous enhancing oval shaped MS plaque within something medical term portion of the right centrum semival white matter fibers is no longer enhancing. Something is no longer enhancing in a portion of my brain. So it was previously, I guess, on my last MRI that I did a year ago, something was previously enhancing and it is no longer enhancing. So I imagine that means that it is no longer active, because I do remember that on my first MRI when I started the case study that I had a lesion that wasn't active and another lesion that was active at the time that I saw my neurologist and started the case study. So that one is no longer in. The active one a year ago is no longer active. And let's see. Yeah, okay, I guess there's a bunch of other medical terminology on here, but it says that I have a chronic mucus retention cyst that was discovered when I first had my MRI. Um, Before I started the case study, so I've had two MRIs prior to an MRI prior to case study, another MRI on case study in the beginning of the year, and then now this MRI. And basically, like I say, it says that I have a chronic mucus retention cyst within the right sinus, um, and it's unchanged from my prior exam. Now, I've researched those mucus cysts, and basically, if it doesn't bother you, then don't bother it. So, I'm not bothering it. I can go to an ENT doctor, and I imagine would say the same thing from my research. If it doesn't cause you any issues, then don't bother it. Usually, you don't know that you have a mucus cyst. Like, even you could have a mucus cyst, and if you don't have an MRI, it would never go detected unless you start having some issues with it. So, yeah, my MRI came back with good news that I do not have any active or new lesions. So that's a blessing. And I always go for myself and get a copy of the report, and as well as a copy of the disc, so I can see my brain myself on my computer, even though I still got to learn how to, read them, like what the MS scarring looks like on the disc. But I always like to have me a copy of my medical records or MRIs or anything that I can get a copy of for each visit of whatever doctor I go to. So yeah, Gilenya is the real deal is going along good. Like I said, I had 3 packs of these. This is my last pack that I'm taking. And, well, no, actually, I have 5 days worth left in here. It's just that I tend to put my medication in here, so I won't forget what days to take my medication. Don't want to accidentally double up on anything that could be deadly. And I haven't opened this yet. So this is what my real medication looks like coming from the pharmacist. And it does have the safety seal on it. I had it shipped to one of the pharmacies where I live, and then instead of having it shipped to my house, I had it shipped to the pharmacist, and then I go and pick it up from there once they log it in or whatsoever. So, looked like it was something else I wanted to talk about, but maybe that's it. I mean, my appointment went well, and I go back for a follow-up, one last follow-up that is going to be covered under case study. Even though technically I'm off of case study, taking the real medication, I go back in August 26th, but I won't have to pay any doctor copay. The case study people will still pick that up and do that. And then the appointment after that is when I'll start paying my $40 copay to see the neurologist. And he indicated that I think I will see him again maybe like 6 months after my August appointment, and then 6 months again after that. But then the plan is for me to only see him once a year, unless I have an issue or relapse or something like that. And then he instructed me that if I have a relapse, to call them immediately. They'll get me scheduled in immediately for MRI. And then the following day, I will come to the hospital, and he'll look at my MRI once he gets it in, because he'll order it stat. He'll look at my MRI and determine if I am actually having a relapse, if I have any active lesions, and if I need to be hospitalized for steroidal treatment, which I'm still undecided if I would want to do a steroid treatment, but I guess that just will determine how bad I feel, how bad of a relapse um, that I would be having if I had a relapse. Um, then I guess I'll make a determination if I'm going to take some type of steroid treatment. But otherwise, I will not have to see him after, I guess, a couple of times of 6-month visits. I'll expand out to just seeing him once a year. But he asks that I keep on top of my blood work, to do my labs every 3 months. Because some people, I guess, once they come off a case study, and they're seeing a doctor once a year, they decide that they won't worry about any blood work until that time, when the blood work actually needs to be done every 3 years, because the medication can mess with your liver. And in this case, Gilenya, it can mess with your liver count. I think on my last labs, I haven't gotten a copy of my labs yet for this past visit, but on my last labs, my liver count was a little bit elevated, but it wasn't anything to be concerned about. And because I haven't received a phone call from the nurse in regards to my labs, or my labs, I imagine that my liver count is well. I need to make a note to make sure I get a copy of my lab, because I like to stay in the know what's going on. And I can't find a pen, and I'm here at my desk. Yeah, so I am going to get a copy of my labs to make sure that my blood work is all good, and that I'm not having an issue with my liver, and the nurse or someone failed to let me know what's going on. I would hope that they wouldn't drop the ball like that, but I like to stay on top of my health. I'm the one that told my primary care doctor that I think I have MS because of my symptoms, and I knew to ask for an MRI. Otherwise, if I had went in there and just sat up and said I don't feel good, such and such is happening, I think she would have just sent me for a CAT scan, and that would have been it. Can't find anything. Thankfully, I do enough talking when I go to the doctor's office to tell them what I think needs to be done or looked into. I feel like doctors are only as good as what you help them to be, by informing them enough about you. And, we know enough about our bodies better than them. They just have the medical know-how, the medical education, to back them to be able to do certain things. But we have to tell them how we're feeling and what's going on, and kind of lead them in the direction of what you think it could be. That's how I feel, because it works for me. I diagnose myself. I help them to diagnose me, but I diagnose myself first. So, yeah, I need to get a copy of that lab. So I just wanted to come and give you all that update. All is well. I'm finally off a case study. No relapses in the year of being on case study and the year of taking medication and not knowing what the dosage was and if it was enough. Because blind study, Gilenya, um, I could have been taking a lower dose than the 0.5 milligrams. And because if I wasn't taking enough in the case study, then I could have had a relapse. But thank God I didn't have a relapse. I think I'm rambling now. So I'm going to end this video. I just wanted to tell you all that I'm good. Case study over. I'm on the real deal medication. So year 1 down, no relapse, and I'm going to prayerfully hope that I continue to be relapse free. So stay tuned, and I'll come back and give another video whenever there's something to tell. So if I'm missing in action, don't think that something is wrong. Look at it as there's nothing going on. MS to tell. So if something MS related comes up, or I just come up with some type of topic that I want to talk about, then I'll come back and discuss MS. Anyway, you all be blessed. And oh my gosh, I'm burning my pizza. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye. Hey y'all. I just wanted to come back real quick and make a correction because I was reviewing my video before I uploaded after checking on my pizza. And no, I didn't burn it, but I just started smelling it. And the light bulb came on that I was cooking pizza. I got in here recording and forgot that I had my pizza in the oven. But I just wanted to make a quick correction. When I was talking about having to do labs, that my doctor wanted me to come and make sure that I stay on top of doing my labs every 3 months. And in the process of me talking, I mentioned at one point in the video every 3 years, but correction, every 3 months labs need to be done. So I'll stay on top of that. But I just wanted to come back and make that quick correction that it's not every 3 years that I mentioned that one time in the video, is every 3 months. So yes, I'll talk to you all later. Be blessed, and remember, God chose us to carry this disease because he knows that we're strong enough to do so. So love y'all. Talk to y'all later. Bye.